Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We'll call this meeting of the Board of Carroll County License Commissioners to order. We begin our meetings this morning, as we have for many years, with the pledge to the flag and observe a moment of silence in memory of all those who have gone before us. It is strictly optional. Mr. Harmon?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. This time, the first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from March 11th, which you all should have received. Are there any corrections or additions?
No.
Hearing none, they will be filed for future reference. Approved. Mr. Graves from the Coon Club,
Yes, sir.
what did you like to present to us? What you had planned to do at the Coon Club?
We would like to be able to sell spirited beverages in cans and other spirited beverages. The reason for that is our beer sales are down, our wine sales are down. Younger people aren't coming to the club because we don't offer what they would like to drink. We've had a liquor license for 94 years now, the same license, and we would like to upgrade it to be able to sell liquor. It would benefit us greatly. We would be able to attract younger people and make more money to help our nonprofit club.
You're not going to have an open bar? It's all going to be canned?
Not at this time. We're not set up for that. Right now, we could sell canned beverages or little bottled beverages to serve at the bar, pop them open, pour them over ice into a cup. But we don't have the spray systems and, rails of liquor. We're going to grow into this little by little.
So you're looking to sell mixed drinks, right?
Mixed drinks, yes.
What type of events would you want to sell mixed drinks?
We have Saturday night dances, about 20 of those a year. We have crab feasts, bull and oyster roasts. We have a really good bluegrass buffet dinner in January. So that's where we're headed towards, doing more special events like that. We've been there for 103 years, so we try to keep things as close to the same as possible as we can.
And these events are open to the public?
Events are open to the public, yes. Being a nonprofit, just about everything we do is open to the public.
Is it a club where you have to join a membership?
Yes, we have. It's a membership of 100 members. When we have these events, we have doormen. We've been doing this they sign in a book. We check IDs. We're real strict on that. We have signs everywhere. So we know we can control this
You check IDs at the door?
at the door.
So they get a wristband or something like that?
They get a hand stamp, wristband, and the bartenders are instructed to also card at the bar.
Okay, great.
They're the final step.
Do drinks ever go outside the building?
Yes, they do.
All right, tell us about that.
When we have special events or we have outside concerts, we've been before your board before, and we've gotten permission to let them take their beverages outside. We showed maps at one of our last hearings here where you have to cross the bridge in order to get into the clubhouse area. And the hillsides coming down create a perfect barrier. And so unless you're a billy goat, you're not getting into that club unless you come across that bridge.
Okay.
Check IDs there, we do wristbands there, hand stamps. And again, the most important thing, our bartenders, we have about 20 or 30 members of the club that have taken the course, taken Mr. Benford's course, and their plaques are on the wall. They're very, very aware that they're the ones that need to definitely check when they get served at the bar. So we check both places. And to be honest with you, our clientele probably has an average age of 60. And that's why we're trying to get liquor, because the younger people aren't coming here. All our other competition in the area, all the other venues sell these canned spirit beverages and stuff, and we get asked every time we have meetings. Every time we have an event, they ask us that. So that's why we're asking you gentlemen if we could also.
And the mission of the Coon Club is basically conservation and environmental?
Conservation, gun safety, we teach hunter safety down there. We have people that come down there and teach wear and carry classes. We have a lot of firemen and some police officers that are members down there that we're getting ready to teach first aid classes and how to use that defibrillator that we're in the process of buying. We try to keep up with all of the, we do community events. We have a lot of charity type events that we hold. The ARC comes every Friday morning for classes.
The what?
ARC, the.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah.
They come every Friday morning, they wipe down tables. They mostly come there to have a social event, to be honest with you. The buses come and they wipe tables and put down chairs for us, and then they all like to have their potato chips and soda. We really enjoy that. We have parties for them. We hold, we do food drives. We try to do as much as we possibly can in the community.
It's my understanding you do not have a rifle or pistol range there, right?
We do have a pistol range.
Oh, you do have a pistol range?
Yes, we do.
Is the range ever open when alcohol is being served?
No. We're strict on that. When we have events, when we have gun events, like for example, the Heart of Maryland shoots their trap down there. They have 5 times a year they come and they shoot, be 150 shooters. The bar is closed. The bar is not open until the shooting events are over with. And by that time, it's usually just the members that are left anyway.
Yeah. And I'm assuming you have a safety officer on range?
Yes,
when
we do.
it's going on?
Yeah, we try to have every opportunity for safety to be the #1 thing.
No, I'm sure, yeah.
You say you've had a license for 97 years?
94 years,
94
1932.
years? How long's the club been there?
Well, we got our first charter in 1923. We are actually a small club before then, but before 1923, we really don't know. We have some records of it, but it all started from local farmers. No TV and radio back in those days, and after they got through their chores, the only thing left to do at night was raccoon hunting. So some of them in those days hunted off of mules. They would let their dogs go up on the roads around that are familiar names that used to be club members. They're all past now, but they would end up down along the river, and little by little, the farmers, well, I got 5 acres of this bottomland, and I got 10, and it wasn't any good for planting, so they donated it and then chartered it, and then, so the first official charter was in 1923.
One of the old-time traditions of Carroll County has been carried on forever and ever.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask one question. Are you guys considered a fraternal organization?
Not really. There is other coon clubs that do the same thing that we do. They're in Pennsylvania or the Eastern Shore that did raccoon hunting. There's only a few of us left that still do raccoon hunting. It's not as popular as it used to be.
Because there's two different types of Class C license, fraternal or non-fraternal.
We'd be a non-fraternal,
Okay.
So you're a 501c3?
yes.
Under the name of what?
Hampstead Sportsman's Association is our umbrella, and the Coon Club, of course, is, we have two different, we're branched off. We're branched under, however you want to say it.
So the Coon Club is under the umbrella of something called the Hampstead Sportsman Association, and that is the 501c3?
Yes.
So the Coon Club is not a separate taxable entity?
No, it's
Then
all, it's the same,
Okay,
It's all
so
been combined.
It's
under one.
consumed by the
yes.
Hampstead Sportsman Association. Same governing board?
Yes. Same Board of Governors, Barney's the treasurer, I'm the president. Yeah, it's the same exact.
You ever rent the facility out to outside groups?
No, we don't rent the club at all to outside groups, only to members. The members have to stand and ask for the use of the club in front of the whole membership once a month, and they must be there at all times. Whenever there's a non-member that's at the club, a member must be there.
How often do you have bands? You may have already told us this, but
20, 22 times a year, depends. During the summertime, maybe once a month.
didn't you
if
just
that.
have one there?
Excuse me?
Did you just have one there?
We did have
Yeah.
one there. It was a band called Angels on Fire.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
so.
think that's what it was.
A
Yeah.
tribute band of some sort?
We do tribute bands, like we have a tribute band coming up in the spring for Creedence Clearwater. We've got a 80s tribute band called Weird Science. If there was a movie in those days called Weird Science, that's how they picked up their name. We do bluegrass there. We have country western band. We have Steve Winkler and the Red Flag Rodeo Band coming in a few weeks.
And the money generated by these dances benefits the Coon Club?
Entirely. Even our tips that the bartenders get, all get turned into the Coon Club.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
No?
If not,
I think, Mr. Chairman, that we should formally make a motion, since this is an upgrade of a license, and make the motion and pass it, unless there's objections.
you were reading what I was going to say.
Well, I would make a motion if that's okay. I make a motion to approve the upgrade to having liquor at the Coon Club, giving them permission to add liquor to their license. I think they're very responsible people. They've been around forever. I've never heard of them having any issues or any troubles at the Coon Club, and I'm very familiar with that club. So I would make a motion to approve it.
I second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion's been made, excuse me, been made and seconded that we approve the upgrade of the license from the Coon Club to a beer, wine, and liquor club license. Any further discussion on the motion?
No.
Hearing none. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. So ordered. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank
Thank
you
Keep up the good work.
very much.
Okay, Rosita and Jesse from Westminster Tap House to tell us what their progress is at the Tap House, on how are things progressing and what's going on.
Things are going slow. We're here today to ask for an extension. We're pretty sure that we're going to have all of our necessary permits and health department, all that stuff signed and ready to go in the next 2 weeks. But we know that our 6-month deadline is kind of getting close. So the one thing I've learned in the past 6 months is that things don't go as expected. So to kind of jump ahead of that, just in case, we're here to ask for a 90-day extension on our liquor license approval.
What's been the big holdup?
The building that we're renovating, or renovated at this point for the tap house, had probably 30 years of really bad electrical work. And it's not very safe, so spent a lot of time and money to remediate that so that the building is indeed safe. So that was a big holdup, and then we had to do some renovations to provide the proper exits for fire safety to meet our occupancy for the liquor license.
Did you have an issue with seats?
We did have an initial issue because the occupancy that we thought we were walking into wasn't the case for a full liquor license. So to do that, we literally had to renovate about a third of the building, moving walls, tearing down walls, rebuilding a fire exit. So
It's been rectified then?
yeah. But that was unexpected and took a lot longer than we anticipated.
Okay, and refresh my memory, what is your name and what is your connection to the,
So my name is Jesse Johnson, founder and one of the owners of Brewery Fire out in Tawnytown, Maryland.
right, so this is like a branch
This
of
is an
Brewery Fire?
extension.
Yeah,
And then, so there I will be, owner, manager
okay.
of the tap house, and then providing the beer.
And refresh my memory again, what was the license that you applied for back 6 months ago?
So I don't know, full liquor license, I'm not sure the
Was it?
Beer, wine, liquor.
beer, wine, liquor.
You're in the, where Crunch is, right?
You're right across from them in Libertories.
What a great location.
It's been good, and it will be good.
So you're just asking for an extension
Yes, sir.
today?
When you originally thought about opening at that establishment, did you do any background work, or was this unknown to you, what you had to do?
I mean, we knew, walking to a building that had, a long-term tenant followed by 2 short-term tenants, we knew nothing was going to be, perfect. So, we had kind of high hopes for it. And when we walked in, the place was appearance well-kept and all that. It had all the proper equipment and things we needed. But, once you start digging into the walls and, you find 30-some years of, looks like I did all the electrical work there.
So when do you anticipate on opening?
If everything goes as planned, we're hoping to start doing like invite-only soft openings at the end of April. So we're kind of anticipating April 24th is the hope, but as we've seen, we want to play it better safe than sorry with this.
Excuse me, you mentioned the health department.
Yes, sir.
What was their main concern?
We just haven't applied for that yet. Our chef, Dan, he's in good connection with them. He has a food truck, and so nothing's been an issue with the health department or the food. It's just we haven't got to that step yet. We don't anticipate any issues with that. The kitchen really hasn't changed.
I'm sorry, you say kitchen has not changed much?
No, other than just, we've had to shrink it because of the
Okay.
construction or deconstruction. But, we have to go through the, temperature checks of the refrigerators and things of that nature.
So your holdup has been with permits, renovation permits, fire department, or what?
I wouldn't say we haven't been held back by it, but it's just, every time, the county, the inspectors have been great. And, they did a lot of stuff at the brewery. So, they've come in and pointed out things. So it's just been some unseen things after another. And
Was it mainly the wiring?
yeah, they used, not Romex. Maybe it is Romex. There was a lot of household, residential wiring done over the years that had to be removed and replaced with commercial stuff, or, under the direction of the electrical inspectors, boxed and, you know, tied up and not hanging on ceilings and things like that, but
You mentioned a exit entrance problem. What was that problem?
the original building had an occupancy based off of the one exit in the front of the building, that we could not exceed 49. There was not enough width, I guess, with the two front entrances, so a rear exit had to be created, so then we could get the occupancy we needed for the full liquor license. So we basically had to go through a third of the building, create a fireproof hallway, and then a rear exit to satisfy the need for the occupancy of 71.
So you have a seating capacity of 71 now?
That's the hope, once our use and occupancy is, that'll be based off of the, fire inspector, Mr. Skinner, and all that, but we're anticipating 71.
Any other questions? What length of time are you requesting?
I mean, just to play it safe, we're asking for a 90-day extension. We don't anticipate that, but
I have no objection, Mr. Chairman.
So, excuse me, you're asking for an extension of 90 days. Have any objection?
I have no objections to that, although you did say you're gonna end up maybe the end of April. or-
yeah, yes, sir.
I have no objections at all.
If there are no objections, I see no reason why this is not granted, so get to work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, it's not quite 10:30, so, excuse me, under new business, there's a request from Jesse Ulua, who is the licensee of Cinco de Mayo, Westminster, for permission to expand on May the 5th for Cinco de Mayo, and there's diagrams in your packets. This has been done, I guess, ever since they have been in the establishment for several years.
At least I think around 8 years.
Diagram?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes.
They're going to go into the parking lot,
Basically, yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah.
basically what they do is
put a tent up.
put a tent up and
Right.
expand
This
the
is the
parking lot.
Westminster one, right?
So
The
nothing's,
Westminster one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. The one in Westminster.
One where we pass when we go to work. Any objections?
No.
Got a request from Thomas Zabelli, owner and licensee of Maggie's, to remove James McQuarrie from the license. I think there's a letter and resolution or whatever. Having trouble separating pages. Resignation letter from Mr. McQuarrie.
who, currently, who's on the license?
Those two people.
2 people?
Yep.
Is James McQuarrie, is he a member of the LLC?
Yes.
So that's not changing?
Well, the percentages are changing. Thomas is taking 100%.
Oh, I see, here's a resolution. Okay.
Well, he's relinquishing his 10%, so he won't be on the LLC then.
Right, yeah. The LLC itself is not, just the names on it aren't changing.
The LLC is staying the same,
Right, minus,
and the 10% owner is giving his 10% to
It's in 6C.
Mr. Zappelli?
yep,
Okay.
And who is on the license, Mr. Zappelli is Thomas, right?
right.
So the licensee will be 100% owner under the LLC.
Correct. Because the only reason he was on the licensee was because the Carroll County requirement.
Parallel.
Any objection?
I have no
No
objection.
no objections.
Okay, we have a request from Keith Watson, owner and licensee of 7556 Main Street in Sykesville, to participate in the town of Sykesville's events. There's a letter attached to your packet.
Have they not done that before, Keith?
Yes, they participated.
That's what I thought.
It just try and get all 5 of them to send at one time. It's been,
So it's,
yes, there's,
so fill us in on the status on the, how Sykesville is doing that now? Are they going under a state?
yes, they get a state non-festival permit, which allows our licensees to go in onto the street and sell alcohol on the street, and from patrons to come and go from their establishment. If you guys approve the request, you approved in previous for E.W. Beck's, for Locomotive, for Vinyl Maine, for Patapsco Distillery. Yeah. And then,
For the same series of events?
Yep. He'll be the 5th.
Yeah, okay,
I can't get them to all submit at one time.
okay. But we're trying, right?
Yeah, we're trying.
There's a form actually that
Yes.
you developed.
Yep, it's going over like a lead balloon, but it's
Yeah. I have no objections.
objections.
No objections.
We have a request from Heather Kuykendall from the Carroll County Ag Center to host a beer garden at the annual tractor pull, April 24, 25.
and then I got the permit application here. It's not in your packet because it's multiple pages, if you guys want to see it.
This has been going on for 15 years.
Yes.
Successful. They
Long time.
check ID as they go into a controlled entrance and issue wristbands to those who are of age
I have no objection.
and controlled, and it's been for, ever since, at least 7, 8 years.
And their alcohol awareness training, there's a map, there's a drawing.
Yeah, I don't have any-
Objection here.
If there are no objections, that's approved. With that, I would ask Mr. Dixon to call our 10:30 appointment, or 10:30 case, rather, please. Case number 6606.
All right, case 6606, an application for transfer to new ownership and licensee for a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license from Hang Fung Inc., trading as Forbidden City, to Bob Wang for the use of Fortune City LLC, trading as Fortune City, 250 Angler Road, Suite 12 and 13, Westminster, Maryland, 21157, in Election District 2. In the file of this matter, we have the following documents. A March 23rd, 2026 letter from Bethany Henderson to Mr. Abraham L. Hurdle Esquire. There is a response to Bethany Henderson's request to various state and local agencies from Belinda Gassell Collections Office. And the box is checked. The above referenced establishment does meet the requirements of this office. There is a response to Bethany Henderson's request to various state and local agencies from Lisa Staley with the Health Department. And the box is checked. The above referenced establishment does meet the requirements of this office. There is a March 23rd, 2026 letter from Kyra Towles, Revenue Specialist, to the board that says, the Comptroller of Maryland Compliance Division has no need to hold the transfer of the alcoholic beverage license as all taxes have been paid. There is a February 18, 2026 letter from Abraham L. Hurdle Esquire that they are representing the client. And then there's an application, and the application includes I see a menu. Articles of organization. Something from State Department of Assessments and Taxation. A drawing of the place. Amendment, assignment, and assumption of lease. Asset purchase agreement. Member managed operating agreement. Check for $10,000. I would ask that the file be entered into evidence.
We'll accept that in evidence. At this time, I would ask all those who intend to testify in the case, please stand. Raise your right hands. And be sworn in by Mr. Dixon.
All right, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. At this time, sir, you may proceed.
Thank you, Commissioners. Abraham Hurdle on behalf of the applicant, Forbidden City LLC. To my right is Mr. Bob Wang, the applicant. To his right is someone who's going to assist with translating. Mr. Wang speaks some English, but is perfect in Mandarin, so some things may not be perfectly clear, so we ask someone to assist with translating if there are any questions. Before we get started, I did want to thank Ms. Bethany and Mr. Keith. They were both phenomenal in this process in terms of answering any questions I had. I spoke to Mr. Keith yesterday about any number of different things, and it was very, very helpful. I do want to point out that there are two things from the checklist that we have not supplied. One of them is a current alcohol awareness certificate as well as a workers' compensation certificate. I typically advise clients not to pay for the workers' compensation until they have employees and are operating, which they're currently not doing at the moment. The current owner is still operating the location. When Mr. Wang takes over, he will get that certificate before the liquor license is issued. I do believe that Mr. Wang has an active alcohol awareness certificate. He is currently a licensee in Anne Arundel County. I did not have a copy of that to provide to the board today. We'll get that either in the next couple of days or we'll get him recertified just to give him another 4 years. If I may proffer very briefly about the application before any questions. Mr. Wang has been in the restaurant business for about 5 years. He has a place again in Anne Arundel County. He had a place prior in Howard County for 3 or 4 years before he sold it. It wasn't revoked. There were never any violations. I do believe that the license in Anne Arundel County is under his previous name, which is Zhang, versus his not-so-given name of Bob. And he is a U.S. citizen. He is aware of the requirements for the alcohol awareness. He plans to have all of his employees who are handling alcohol, so all serving staff, any bartenders that may be there, they're all also going to be alcohol awareness trained. Staff in the back of the house are not going to be alcohol awareness trained, as we don't anticipate them to be engaging in any alcohol of any nature. I do have copies of the menu, a little bit better than the copies that I provided. May I approach?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Counsel, I didn't get your name again.
Sorry, Abraham Hurdle,
Hurdle, can you spell that for
Yes.
me?
Hurdle. And just in case you need the address, it's 614 Bosley Avenue in Towson. I think the office used to be Mr. Boozer's office.
That's right, yeah, I think we chatted about that once.
I think I've been here once or twice. It's been a while, though.
And I think last time you were here, you said Mr. Boozer still comes in once in a while? Or-
Mr. Vernon passed, I want to say,
Oh,
in
I'm sorry.
December, and of course, Bo, several years back, unfortunately.
Right.
Ed, Vernon's partner, still comes in on occasion, and he's 91, I think, just recently. And he only gave up his pilot's license about 3 years ago, which is concerning in some ways.
Yeah, I think you and I discussed that,
Yeah.
Mr. Boozer was very helpful to me when I was a young attorney.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about both Vernon or Bo and Ed. Wonderful people, very
Exactly,
helpful.
yeah.
The hours of operation for this location are during the week from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and on Friday and Saturday till 11 p.m. I think they open a little later on Sundays is what the menu reflects, and we plan to keep the same hours and roughly the same food. Having spoken to my client, it's his understanding that he also plans to keep much of the staff around, just so that the experience with the area, the locals, kind of common practices also carries over. I find it tends to lead to a smoother transition than a situation where anybody there stops working and you get all new staff. It just leads to better practices generally. They plan to card anybody who looks under the age of 40. I have talked to them as well about just carding everyone who orders alcohol, and to also be very cautious of tables where there are groups of people who are 25 and people who are 20 and not necessarily have ID, just to keep an eye on those sort of things. At this time, if the board has any questions, I would turn it over to my client, and again, his translator will assist for times when he can't answer the questions.
I just have a few questions for you, Counsel.
Sir.
The current licensee is who?
I believe it's Miss Wu, who is over here to my left.
Okay, so from my notes, can you just give me her name?
I believe it's Ava Wu, EVAWU, I believe.
Okay, so the request is transfer of new ownership from Ava Wu Trading as Hang Fung Inc.?
Correct.
Okay.
Could I interject? Doesn't there need to be a criminal records check in the file?
I
Because
believe
it's
one-
not in the file.
I believe one was submitted. I can certainly either check my notes and resend it over today, or have him do it again.
And we need a driver's record too.
It's no problem at all. I'm fairly sure that I have it. I thought it got sent over, but I'm never confident enough to say that
On
someone's
the
telling me
table of
what's wrong.
contents of that, it's not listed that you have it on there, so.
I understand.
Under a letter dated March 23rd, 2026, to Mr. Hurdle, there's an indication that we would need the criminal record. And you feel that you sent it over?
I believe it's been done, but I'm not confident enough to say that what you guys are indicating is incorrect. I'm never that confident with anything. What I can say is that if for some reason it isn't in my packet at my office and hasn't been sent over, I will have Mr. Bob take care of that.
I may have missed it, but I didn't see it in there.
I went through it and I didn't see it in there. I would have said it.
Mr. Dixon went through too and didn't see it.
Again, I'm not nearly confident enough to say that you guys are wrong. That's never my situation. I know that things sometimes, my assistant is a person I would like to blame whenever these sort of situations happen, but what I can say is that if for some reason it isn't there and I don't have it in my office, I'll have Mr. Wang take care of it before the week is out, and we'll get that over to you immediately. Again, he is currently a licensee in Anne Arundel County. He has no felonies. And not that that is necessarily something that transfers in this regard, but that would preclude his licensee status in Anne Arundel County were he a felon or someone of bad character in that regard. We do have the 3 witnesses who will indicate that he is a person of good character.
And I might want to add the bulk transfer permit. Did you fill out this for the state for the bulk transfer?
We absolutely have not. It's typically my practice to do that at closing so that the inventory is accurate at that time. We do understand that that does lead to some delays. Typically, it's been my experience about 6 weeks at the current time, getting that permit back from Ford Avenue, which means that the license will not transfer until after that's been supplied. It's never my intention to come to this hearing and pick up the license within a couple days. Typically, it's one of those things where we will hold the closing in a couple of weeks. I know that at some boards, they allow the purchase of the license before the hearing. I'm always very cautious with that due to any number of reasons. I think the closing is scheduled for probably late next week or early the week after, assuming the board does approve the license application today.
So closing during the month of April.
Absolutely.
And you feel that the applicant has alcohol management training?
It would be required to be an active licensee in either Howard County or Anne Arundel, where he is currently a licensee at this time.
He's current in Anne Arundel, but not Howard.
Correct. He gave up his license in Howard, I believe, in 2024. That's what my notes reflect. I believe the application reflects as well.
What restaurants does he own right now?
I believe it's called the Fortune Cookie in Anne Arundel County. Bob, what's the name of your current restaurant in Anne Arundel County?
Fortune Cookie.
Fortune
at
Cookie.
Glen Burnie, Maryland.
In Glenbury.
Is that
And
the
I
only
do
one?
believe it's spelled with a Y, Fortune Cookie with a Y, not an IE, even though
Is that the only one?
it is his current only app license.
How
at
long
the
has he
time.
had that?
I believe, how long have you had the license in Glen Burnie?
3 years.
He's indicated 3 years. Sure, sorry. Bob, can you put, please identify yourself. What's your name and address?
Home address?
Correct.
Home address.
Yeah.
Okay. 10327 Pine Ridge Drive, Ellicott City.
Ellicott City?
Yeah, Ellicott City, Maryland. 21042.
And you had a establishment in Howard County?
Did you have a restaurant in Howard County?
你在 Howard County 有餐馆吗？
曾经有。
He used to have one, but now they no longer have.
Correct.
And why do you no longer have that?
为什么就是现在不拥有那餐馆？
Before you go any further, you identify yourself, full name and address.
Thank you, gentlemen. My apologies, commissioners. Sir, can you put your name on the record as well?
Yeah, my first name is RUI, last name is XU. Home address is 10061 Century Drive, Ellicott City, Maryland, 21042.
Thank you.
And you're here in capacity as a translator for English to Mandarin?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
And your, any qualifications or certifications for translation at a hearing?
Just his friend.
Friend, okay.
Bob, why did you get rid of the restaurant in Howard County?
就为什么最后放弃那个餐馆？
一个是房东历史到期，第二个呢就是就是想继续做这个美式中餐的这个赛道啊，就是把传统中餐这块儿可能就放弃了，是这样。
So there are two reasons. First reason is the lease of that place is almost need to renew at that time. And the second reason is that he want to change to focus on the American Chinese food style. But the one in the Howard County was like authentic Chinese food. So he want to because Fortune Cookie restaurant at Glen Burnie is like American Chinese food. So he think this might be a better way for him to proceed more with the restaurant business. So he want to sell that restaurant business to get more focus on the American Chinese style, like this Forbidden City restaurant.
So did he turned in his license in Howard County?
Did he sell the business, or did he turn the license over to the liquor board?
你就是卖掉了餐馆。 turn the license into
Did he sell the business
yeah，
with the license?
你就是卖餐馆的时候也把
酒牌卖
酒牌卖了。
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, yes.
The business was sold to a new operator who
Did
retained the
that sale
license.
include the license?
就是包括
In
这
Howard County, it normally would. I would imagine they wouldn't want it without the
Yeah.
license. Would have been a transfer.
Can you tell us, is Bob your legal name now?
Bob, did you change your name to Bob?
Yes,
B-O-B?
yes, new name is BOB. Old name is Zhang, Zang, yes.
J-I-N-G,
Yes.
okay.
JIANG。
J-I-A-N-G.
Yeah,
And was this done through the courts in Maryland?
就是通过马里兰的法院改的，还是怎么改
就是入公民的时候就改了。
？When he applied for the American citizen, he,
I'm sorry, what?
when he status changed to American citizen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the name change was accomplished by becoming an American citizen?
Correct.
You indicated that your name will be B-O-B Zhang,
Full name is Bob. B-O-B is the first name.
yes?
W-A-N-G is the last name.
Bob Wang.
Bob
I'm
Wang.
sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yes.
Bob Wang. So on your official certificate of U.S. citizenship, it says Bob.
Bob Wan. Yes.
What does your driver's license say? Do you have a driver's
现在
license?
的
I
驾
guess?
照是 Bob
Yes.
Bob Wang.
Bob Wang.
same
It has the new name?
new name.
New name, yes.
Mr. Wang, have you had to appear in front of any liquor board for any violations in the past?
你之前就是有过任何违反的情况吗？就是需要去酒局的那种 no violations before.
At either of those boards, Anne Arundel or Howard County?
你就是Anne Arundel County 和 Howard County 都没有是吧
Yes.
？No, you're right. There's no violations in both counties.
How long has he been in the restaurant business?
About 5 years,
Total of 5 years.
correct. Before that, I asked him, he indicated he was in construction management.
And he's had an alcoholic beverage license for 3 years or 5?
I believe in Howard County, the license was issued in 2020, so it's been, in some capacity, he's been licensed for about 5 years.
And I think you indicated, counsel, that he has a current license in Anne Arundel County?
Correct, the fortune cookie with a Y.
Okay. And how long has he held that license?
When did you get your license in Anne Arundel County? That was in 2024 or 2025?
富春库也是什么时候拿到这个酒牌？
2023.
2023, so
Yeah.
about 3 years in Anne Arundel County.
Thank you.
How does
I'm sorry.
How does Mr. Wang know Ms. Feng?
That's a very good question. Mr. Wang, how did you meet Miss Wu to purchase this restaurant? How do you know
你是怎
Miss
么知
Ava?
你是怎么知道伊娃姐，然后来去买这个？
因为我准备致力于这个美式中餐，然后我就到处找这样的店，所以说就找到了这个伊娃屋的这个店。
Yeah, because when he sold his restaurant in Howard County, he's looking for a new American Chinese style restaurant. So he kept looking basically on the map to see if any similar kind of American Chinese restaurant nearby. So not only this restaurant, he looked for a lot of nearby restaurant, so that's when he know Miss Eva, Miss Wu.
It wasn't advertised for sale, though.
Was it advertised for sale, or did he approach her?
他没有打广告说是要卖的，只是你去寻找到这个。
Yes，是的。
It's not through the advertisement. He just
Just approached her.
Yeah, like a call to stopping by the restaurant to just ask. Yeah.
In the operating agreement, that's, I guess was provided by council, there's a signature, Bob Wang, that was actually his signature. He actually signed that?
Yes, sir.
So he can read and write the English language?
I've had any number of interactions with Mr. Wang over the last 4 or 5 months, and there are certainly complicated matters involving this where it has been very beneficial to have someone who can translate. I have found on simple matters of, hey, Bob, I need you to come in, bring a check so that I can drop this off at the liquor board and sign some paperwork. Don't need a translator in those circumstances. On more complicated matters, a couple of our discussions have included my wife, who does speak Mandarin, and it's been helpful. Again, I would never want to speak for my client. I think he benefits from having a translator, but I do think he can get by.
I guess my concern is he can read English. He
Correct.
can read the rules of this board.
Yep.
Okay.
And we've sat down on numerous occasions to review the different rules, indicate where they're different in some capacity from Howard County and Arundel County, where there are some mild differences.
Yeah.
Again, most counties operate the same way, which is one of the primary goals is to make sure the alcohol is not given to people who are underage, make sure that it's secured, and I think in a lot of ways, primarily the taxes are paid, wholesalers are where you order from. There's any number of other rules, I think, of course, but those seem to be the areas where things seem to be common.
And what will his involvement be in the daily operation?
It's a great question. Bob, when we spoke, you indicated you would be there full-time, 7 days a week, for the next 6 months until you have a good staff under control, correct?
他之前律师跟你之前聊的时候说你会在那里7天，就是全职在那儿7天，然后待6个月，然后之后等稳定以后你会就是主要是来员工在那里去管理去做事。
是。
Yes. So yes, he plans to be there full-time for the next 6 months until he gets kind of a more established staff and he's familiar with the location. After that, Bob, you will split your time 7 days a week between this location and the location in Glen Burnie, correct?
就是6个月之后，你会将你的时间分配在这面的餐馆和在格兰伯尼的餐馆。
是的。
Yes.
Okay. Counsel, you'd indicated he was in the construction industry before he got involved with restaurant business?
My understanding is he emigrated to the U.S. about 5 or 6 years ago, and in China, he was a construction manager.
Oh, okay. So he's resided in the United States for 5 or 6 years.
Absolutely.
And I don't think I saw on the file any documentation regarding his citizenship status.
We did put there was a question in there about whether he was a citizen. He is a citizen. I believe that process came about in 2023, I think was what my records reflected. Was it in 2023 was when the hearing occurred, and that was done. Where was your immigration hearing?
你的就是
Swearing in, sorry.
入to become an American citizen.
When he was sworn in,
就
correct.
是你在哪里宣誓就是入籍的。
Baltimore City.
In Baltimore City.
Okay. Do you have any documentation in connection with you becoming a United States citizen? And
We didn't provide any. We can get a copy of a passport as one of our things that we can certainly provide to the board.
Okay.
We normally require a copy of the citizenship not application, the certificate that's presented at the time.
Yeah, I want to ask Mr. Wang, and you can translate if he needs it, just to stay on the record, under oath, that you are a U.S. citizen, correct?
就是你现在是一个美国公民，对吧？
Yes.
Okay.
We can get copies of the naturalization paperwork. Again, I think a
Yeah.
passport would, I anticipate that would suffice
Yeah,
as well.
there'll probably be a few things that we'll ask you to provide just for a file.
Absolutely.
And we'll put that in there too, I guess.
Happy to follow up on anything.
We're
we
talking
need to.
about a United States passport.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. And this is what I've learned from my wife, who also happens to be Chinese, that once you become a U.S. citizen, you can't have dual citizenship with China or in the U.S. typically. So he would have to forego his Chinese passport to be a U.S. citizen. So we only have one.
Well, that's interesting. So has his prior citizenship been revoked? Is
I
that
don't
how it
think it's
works?
revoked. I think you have to basically
You
forfeit
forfeited, so he forfeited his,
here.
yeah.
This is it, yeah.
I'm curious about the restaurant in Howard County. How long had that been open?
Prior to him taking over, or
Did
Generally.
he originate the establishment?
that is a question I'm happy to
And,
ask.
and how long that establishment was open before he closed it?
Before he sold it.
He sold it, sorry.
Bob, the restaurant in Howard County, did you open the restaurant or did you buy it from someone else?
你在 Howard County 的餐馆是你开起来的，还是说你从之前的人买过来
从别人那儿买的。
？By purchased from others.
Purchased it from someone else?
Previous owner.
How long was it open before you purchased it? Do you know?
The previous owner.
Correct.
就是在你买之前，他开了多久？
Maybe 4 years, 5 years.
Maybe 5 years before you bought it.
And I may have missed this, I'm sorry, I was looking at the file. There was testimony about keeping the staff, was there testimony?
Here, yes, absolutely. I always recommend to clients, and Bob has indicated to me that it is his plan to keep as many of the staff members as he can, just because for any number of reasons, it helps with regulars, kind of local practices, and leads to a smoother transition than kind of
Yeah.
a brand-new turnover, which I always discourage in any number of ways with clients.
And I think there was some testimony about the menu is not going to be changing that much.
At the moment, my understanding is the menu shouldn't be changing much at all. I think the big difference today with the menu from the current menu is that this one now says Forbidden City versus Fortune
Okay.
City.
And who prepares the food now, and who will prepare the food should Mr. Wang take over?
Is there going to be a new kitchen staff, or is the same kitchen staff going to be retained for the time being?
就是厨房的人是一样的，还是说就是会有新的？Keep the current kitchen staff or the new
Yeah, is
staff?
it going to keep the current
Okay.
staff, or is it going to have new staff for the kitchen?
管理团队都是原来的 keep 然后对厨房的话，只加了一个人，因为原来的 owner 他走了之后，我们要加一个岗位进来。
And so he added just one more staff in the kitchen.
Otherwise, the same staff
Because the previous owner
in the
have
kitchen.
have people in kitchen, so he add one to
It sounds as if the current kitchen staff includes the owner-operator, and since she would be moving on, he would be adding one staff to the kitchen to keep it the same size. Otherwise, it'll be the same staff besides the owner moving on.
So, Mr. Wang, the applicant, Mr. Wang, is not going to be the preparer of the food, I take it?
No.
He'll get someone else, okay.
Who will be the license, oh, sorry, go ahead. Chairman.
Who's Wan Lu?
Wang Lu?
Yes. Wan Lu is a grantor of the lease, along with Mr. Wang.
Who is Wang Lu? Is Wang Lu your wife?
Yeah.
Wang Lu is
王璐是你的
Yes.
妻子。Yes.
his wife. My apologies. And if I may, Lu is the first name, Wang is last name, correct?
陆是 first name， 王是姓，陆是名是吗？ Yeah.
Yeah, first name is Lu, last name is Wang. They share the same last name.
And she is on the lease. She's a tenant.
Guarantor, it's a
Yeah.
landlord
没有
requirement.
看到在 list 上。
She signed it Wan Lu.
Well, it's always a question, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, my apologies, my wife does some of these things that are,
The opposite of what we would expect sometimes.
I would never say that to her.
No. I mean, I'm talking about how the names are signed.
It's certainly different practices.
Who's Vida Wang?
Who?
Vida?
Vida? Vida, who is Vida Wang?
Vida？
Is it in the lease, sir? I'm sorry.
She witnessed all these signatures.
Yeah, YIDA something,
YIDA
WANG is a witness attesting to the signatures on the
YIDA
lease.
Who was there when you signed the lease?
就是签 list 的时候还有谁？
Oh, my daughter, Rochelle.
就签的名是 YIDA WANG。
Oh, 子凡 ZIFAN.
It's YIDA。
Why, yes, I think it, yes,
Sure.
YIDA, and then there's another symbol.
ID.
And it looks like the last name is pretty clearly WANG.
Was it your daughter who witnessed the signatures on the lease?
就是就是在场的人，就是你签 list 的时候，应该上面有个在场人。
Oh.
是签的谁？ 不需要，不需要。
My apologies.
Oh,
Sorry.
是应该是那个律师助理吧？
那
lawyer office.
From Charlie's office.
Yeah. Charlie. Oh.
The lease was signed at the lawyer who's preparing the deal. I'm handling the liquor license transfer, Mr. Charlie Sung's office. And it must have been one of his associates in some capacity or one of the girls at the counter.
The last name is WANG. Or first name, however it gets, yeah, however you look at it.
姓王。
是吧？
Well, Miss Wu signed it, and somebody else witnessed her signature.
Yes, sir.
So it was done at a different time, perhaps?
Certainly possible.
Anyway, let's move on.
I have no further questions at this point, Mr. Chairman.
Who's going to be the licensee?
Mr. Wang is going to be the licensee.
He's going to be the licensee?
Absolutely.
So we're missing driving records, criminal records,
Alcohol awareness, workers' comp.
workers' comp,
Citizenship?
alcohol awareness, and citizenship.
Bulk transfer, which
Bulk
we're always
transfer.
All
missing that.
transfer. So we're missing half the application.
If we approve this,
Yes, sir.
the applicant will agree to read and know the contents of our rules and regulations?
Absolutely, of course. And any approval today, I would ask that would be, of course, contingent upon us providing the background, the citizenship, the workers' comp, the bulk transfer, and I think criminal background was the other item.
Is it driving record? Is it?
Driving record and criminal background, correct.
It's not there.
Were you aware that all this had to be,
In that letter.
entered in your packet prior to this meeting?
My apologies, Commissioner. My understanding, well, in my personal practice, is that we typically do not provide the workers' comp until after the hearing, just because of the fact that it's a cost prohibitive item to purchase for a business that's not necessarily a functioning operation. Guessing how many employees you have, things of that nature, it's, again, a massive expense. Again, my understanding was that we had provided the criminal background check information as well as the driving record. I'm not disputing that it isn't in the file. I'm not saying that it is and you guys overlooked it. I'm saying that we will get that to you, and it is my belief from my interactions with Bob and the fact that he is a current licensee, that he has been found to be fit and proper in other jurisdictions, which, again, is not controlling over this board under any circumstance, but may carry some weight, if only nominal weight. And we will provide that by the end of the week. The bulk transfer permit, again, that's something that we don't fill out until the deal is effectively done. I try not to close on a transaction until the board has approved it because there are any number of hiccups. With regards to the citizenship, the application indicates the questions there. My apologies for not getting a copy of the passport. That's something that we can have, again, by the end of the week. We can have, I would say, most of this, certainly not the bulk transfer permit, but everything else within days. I do apologize for the confusion. Again, Miss Bethany and Mr. Keith have been fantastic to deal with. Any mistake is on my side.
So the criminal record that we usually receive comes from a different agency than the MBA record?
Correct. Usually there's a FBI and Maryland State Police record that's submitted
Yeah,
when
that's,
fingerprinting is done.
I just
I
wanted to,
believe we do have the criminal record upstairs. I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe we have it.
okay. Well, we will do a search.
And again,
We'll let you know.
if for some reason you don't have it, I'll send him, to be honest, regardless of the outcome of whether you guys find it or don't, I'm going to have him basically chase that down by the end of the day if I can,
Okay.
just to make sure that it's done.
And is Mr. Wang familiar with the laws for sales to minor and vertical and horizontal license? Could you ask him that?
Absolutely. Mr. Wong, when reading a driver's license, you're familiar that people over 21 are horizontal and vertical are under 21, correct? A vertical driver's license is under 21, and a horizontal license
就
is
是
over
横
21.
着的驾照和竖着的驾照，你都可以能清楚的知道他是不是21岁。Yes.
And Mr. Wong, you have taken the alcohol awareness course in the past, correct? The TAMS or TIPS
之前
course?
参加过这方面的训，也就是那个需要酒证的训练，对吧
Class, yes.
Where did he take that class?
Do you know who gave you that class for the TAMS or TIPS or alcohol awareness class?
是谁给你的这个就是这个训练和证书？
具体名字我记不清楚了，但是资料
在是在哪里？
真伪局就是 Howard County 一次，Anne Arundel 这个 Fort Cook 一次，然后我是把所有的要求那厚厚一本我都翻译成中文了。
The name he couldn't recall, but he has one in Howard County and he had another one training in and around.
I heard the name Jimmy. Is that who gave the course?
Jamie, Jamie 是叫 Jamie 吗？
Johnson, maybe?
It would be, Martin would be the one who would do it in Howard.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Jimmy
thinking.
Philippidis is someone who does them for me in the city.
I think I vaguely recall.
Jimmy Philippidis?
Yeah, on the, because I saw once that.
If Mr. Jimmy Philippidis did it, then I have a copy of his alcohol awareness sitting in my inbox, of course, because Jimmy always sends me a copy for anybody we send over to him. It is a requirement in both Howard and in Anne Arundel.
And
What's the year requirement in those counties? 4 years?
I believe the certificates always expire in 4 years.
4 years?
And Anne Arundel does require, which I'm not sure is the case in every county, that the course that is given be an overseen course, as
Yes.
opposed to one of these kind of online only, no supervision kind of classes.
We require the same thing.
That's
That's-
excellent.
That's the set for exam.
I believe that's the gold standard that we look for.
Yeah. So in Carroll County, we do something called a diversion program. And we want our licensees to know this. I don't know if it's done in other counties, but here, if someone under the licensee sells to an underage person, that person who did the sale, even though they're not the licensee, they are subject to possible criminal prosecution under state law. And what we do, if that happens here, we let the licensee and the employee and the state's attorney's office know about the situation. And rather than charge that employee or that server criminally, the state's attorney's office allows them to enter into a diversion program so that if they complete the program, there will not be a criminal charge against them. Now, it's very important for our licensees to know that because not every county does it that way, and our licensees need to tell their servers and their employees that in Carroll County, there's a possibility, in fact, a real possibility, that if you sell to someone underage, you will be contacted by the state's attorney's office regarding criminal matter. And it helps clarify the mind of some servers maybe. And it's certainly, and this is all in addition to any problems that the licensee is going to incur. And that's handled by, not by us, but by the state's attorney's office. And I think it's important for the applicant to know this. Now, it's, I know I just went on kind of a little bit long-winded here, but I'll leave up to council the best way that you think that should be communicated.
If I may, I think that's a great program. I know that, somewhat off course a bit, we've had a lot of problems with underage service in Anne Arundel where the SAVE unit, which is a police-run unit, does a lot of the underage service investigations. And we have struggled with a hit rate of about 50 to 60%, which is concerning. They do a lot of inspections, so we don't think it's that Anne Arundel licensees are necessarily bad. It's just that maybe there isn't enough training, and it's something that we're working towards. I do think the potential criminal prosecution, which I understand, of course, is state law, and is not necessarily enforced in most counties, would go a long way to deterring people or making them think twice as a cashier at a liquor store or as a serving clerk at a restaurant. Absolutely.
That's why Carroll County instituted the program to help our licensees, well, behave is not the word, but protect public safety.
Good for everyone.
So I guess, how do we convey that? Well, and that's if,
That welcome packet.
it's in the welcome packet, but that's assuming that the application is granted, but we'll give it to you anyhow. So,
Yeah, not to be premature with the welcome packet, but I will sit down with Bob and indicate that he has to be very thorough with underage. I think it's something that, representing a lot of licensees, I think it's something that they all struggle with. I think the current restaurant business is a challenge, given the fact that a lot of licensees and a lot of employees are, in some capacity, somewhat transient and not necessarily dedicated to the quote-unquote mission of an establishment. I think having the criminal charge, I think it's a genuinely good thing. It's something I'll take back to Anne Arundel because I think it puts the cashier kind of in line with the business operations goal, as opposed to, this is just a job that I'm not necessarily very dedicated to.
yeah, we usually ask the licensee to convey that to anyone who they hire, along with any other training
Absolutely.
that they might provide. And I think you had mentioned earlier, Counsel, that the applicant intends to have pretty full training on alcohol management techniques.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of a different rule we have from here is, in Anne Arundel, one of the rules we recently instituted is 30 days for restaurant employees to handle alcohol to be trained in alcohol awareness. I think that it's a nice program. I think the stick versus the carrot that you guys have is maybe more compelling.
Well, we also have a carrot, and it's called a reward program. We encourage licensees to offer a reward of some sort to the employee who does not sell to one of our testers, one of our compliance people who come in and check regularly, which I guess your licensee should know that we do this regularly. Our inspectors are very good at doing it, and we check for underage sales. And if some of our licensees, if their employee or their server refuses to serve underage, they get a bonus of some sort. So
Again, I think
that's
it's a great
the
idea.
carrot that we see a lot of.
Excellent. I appreciate that.
Commissioners, any other questions before we have character witnesses? You have 3 character witnesses, I
I
believe?
do have 3 character witnesses. The gentlemen were sworn in earlier.
Would
Would you like to, we can bring them up?
Yeah, they could use the microphone right back there.
Gentlemen, the microphone, please. Yes.
站在麦克后边。
State your full name and address for the record, please.
My name is Yu Hyung Pan. First name is Yu Hyung. Last name is Pan. I live in Ellicott City. My address is 8516 Ellicott View Road.
How long have you known Mr. Wang?
Oh, we are just actually like some kind of neighbor. We all live in Ellicott City, and we like to hike, running. So when we are hike, we beat together in Centennial Park. So I know him almost 20 years, I guess. 2007, when I met him.
Do you think he's a proper and fit person to hold an alcoholic beverage license in Carroll County, Maryland?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I agree with that.
I'm sorry, how many years have you known the applicant?
I know him. How many I know him? As I remember, it's 2007 or 2008.
2008?
2008,
Okay, so, all right, that's
18 years.
a number of years. And what is it about Mr. Zhang that makes you comfortable testifying that he is a fit and proper person? Do you feel he's an honest person and a hardworking person?
Yes, he's a very hard work person. He treats people, always use humble and polite ways. And he running the restaurant very delicious and wholeheartedly to the client.
Did you frequent his restaurant in Howard County?
Visit his restaurant?
Have you been to his restaurant in Howard
Yes.
County?
Yes, I always like to be his client, and he treated me always, as I said, a very polite, humble way, and friendly, and he treated all the clients wholeheartedly.
I have no further questions.
How do you spell your last name?
My last name is Pan, P-A-N-G, P for Pete, A for Apple, N for Nancy, G for Georgia.
And let me see, your first name is Y-O-U-X.
Yeah, X for X-ray, X-I-O-N-G.
I-O-N-G. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Next gentleman, state your full name, address, and spell your last name, please, or full name.
Good morning, sir. My name is, first name is Guangji, last name is Sun, S-U-N.
Would you spell your name, please?
Guangji, G from George, U from under, A from Apple, N from Nancy, G from George, J from Jack, I from Ink, E from Elephant. Last name is Sun, S-U-N, S from Sam, U from Umbrella, N from Nancy.
And your address?
I live in 5712 Whistling Winds Walk, Crossville, Maryland.
And how do you know Mr. Wang?
I met Miss Wang probably in 2021. So his daughter and my daughter went to the same class, so we just chat around. So I get to know him.
Have you frequented his restaurant, either one of them?
When he had a restaurant in Howard County, yeah, I went there quite a few times.
What's his best dish?
The one I mean I know it's not made by him, but his restaurant is very famous for the Peking duck. They do have that dish. I like it.
Where did you say you live? Did you say Crofton or?
Clarksville,
Oh, Clarksville. Okay,
32 course with 108.
thank you.
And you indicated you met him through classes that your daughter was taking and he was taking?
No, his daughter.
His daughter.
Both daughters.
And what class was that?
I think it's for some leadership class, leadership writing, English writings.
Oh, okay.
Do you think he's a fit and proper person to hold an alcoholic beverage license in Carroll County, Maryland?
I believe so. He's very good, and he's a very passionate person. He care about other person, and you know, when a few times when I talk to him, you know, he's also against like young age, underage drinking. So.
Have no questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next gentleman.
Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Wenbo Luo. I became a U.S. citizen about 10 years ago, and I live in 5728 Whistling Winds Walk, Clarksville, 21029.
Can you spell your last name?
Luo, L-U-O.
And how about your first name?
Wenbo, W-E-N-B-O.
And how do you know Mr. Wang?
Well, same as George. My daughter and Mr. Wang's daughter went to the same extracurricular activity. And later, his youngest son and my younger daughter, they went to the same fencing club, so met in a regular base.
Do you feel he's a fit and proper person to hold a liquor license in Carroll County, Maryland?
I believe so. He is a straightforward person. He's fair, and I think he values his reputation. So that's make me believe he will handle the wine license in a legal and safe way.
Questions?
I'm sorry, and how long have you known him?
I believe it's like 8 years ago when we first met. Yeah.
And how often do you socialize with him or see him or speak with him?
Before, I went to his restaurant a couple of times. As George said, it's the Peking duck. I was born in Beijing, so I like Beijing duck.
Okay.
And also, we met in a regular base because both our kids went to the same fencing club. So it's
Same
like
fencing club?
Fencing club,
Oh.
yeah. So it's like
Yeah.
at least once or maybe 3 times a week.
Well,
Interesting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Earl, you may proceed.
If the board has no further questions, I would ask that the board approve this application. I believe that Mr. Wang is a fit and proper person to hold a liquor license liquor license at this time. He has a liquor license and he's had one in other counties. He's had no violations. His indication is that he will do his best to follow the rules. I always say best because I would never make the promise that no one would have a violation, although he seems to have a pretty good track record at this time. If the board will approve the application, and again, that would be conditionally upon the providing of those additional documents that were missing, we would ask for that to happen at this time. And we do appreciate your time today, commissioners. Thank you.
Before,
Sorry.
yeah, that's the point I was going to raise.
before we close testimony, Ms. Liu, could you come to the microphone? Just state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, good morning. My name is Eva Wu. My home address is 1083 Wild Goose Court, Westminster, Maryland, 21157.
And you are the current licensee and owner?
Yes, I am.
And you agree to this if all Ts are crossed and Is dotted and so on and so forth for this sale?
Yes.
Commissioners, you have any questions? Ms. Liu?
Oh. I do have a follow-up question for Mr. Wang.
Before that, Ms. Liu, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And good luck in whatever you intend to do after you leave the kitchen.
Thank you.
Now, Commissioner Barnhart.
I think the applicant's testimony was he came to the United States 5 or 6 years ago? Did I get that right, or did I miss that?
That was, I believe, my mistake. Mr. Wang, when did you first come to the United States?
第一次来到美国是大概什么时候？
哦，第一次是2016，过来旅游。
It's like 2016 for the travel. That's the first time.
2016.
Yeah.
Okay, and we had, and this could just be a communication problem, it was, I think one of the character witnesses testified they've known him since 2008, or maybe it was 2018, maybe I misheard that.
He said 8.
He said 2000.
He did, I heard 2008, I believe as well. Mr. Wang, one of your witnesses indicated that they've known you for about 18 years. Did you know him before you moved here, or was it, did he misspeak?
刚才有一个这个证人是说，他认识你是在2008年的时候，那是他说错了，还是你确实之前就认识他？
肯定是他表述错了，他应该是2018才对。
It should be 2018, not.
Yes, 2018. I stayed wrong. It should be 2020.
2018.
Okay.
Let the record show 2018.
Is he still in the construction business?
Mr. Wang, do you do any work in the construction business still?
你现在还做建筑方面的工作吗？
已经不做了，现在我专心一心一意的做餐饮。
No, he only focus on the restaurant business right now.
Okay, well, when he's not at the restaurant, what's he doing?
I'm sorry.
I was just curious.
I think the better question might be if he's not at the restaurant.
If he's not at the restaurant, what's he doing?
If Mr. Wang is not working at one of the currently the Anne Arundel restaurant, potentially the Anne Arundel and Carroll restaurant, what other things is he doing? Is he doing does he have any other work, or is he just spending time with his
No,
family right now?
你现在除了这个餐馆，包括现在即将要做的这个Forbidden City，你还在做什么其他的事情？
目前暂时没有，但是有计划，还要在这个店半年或者1年之后，我们可能还要再做，再购买或者是要美式中餐的餐馆。
There's no more other things for now, but he want to expand more restaurant in future, like similar style, in nearby locations.
Okay, and I think he testified that he will, if this application is approved, he'll spend most of his time at the new restaurant, and then after it gets going well, he will split time between the two.
Right.
Correct.
And in addition to that, he wants to increase his culinary empire.
就是你现在不是说6个月会在这里一直来管理这个，然后6个月之后你会分配时间在这2个，在同时的话，你还是会想再增加新的餐馆。
Justified the first 6 months. He tends to spend most of his time.
Maybe 也许吧。
Yes. Yeah, he will take some time to keep looking for new, but maybe not in next 6 or 12 months, but he will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions before we? If there are none, testimony and evidence is now closed. Mr. Hurdle, what do you want to make any more closing remarks or not?
I think that I've said everything there is to say. I think Mr. Wang is a fit and qualified applicant. I think he'll do a good job for both this business and for Carroll County. I am always optimistic that my clients will continue to uphold whatever current status is required with regards to licensees in terms of making sure that things are done timely, making sure that no underage service occurs, following all the different rules. And again, making sure that, I always think the best licensee is one that the board kind of is unaware of in a lot of ways, because they stay off the radar, which is a good thing.
With that, Spector, do you have any closing comments?
No, only thing, I will miss Ms. Wu. How many years did you have the restaurant?
38 years.
So, I hope he has very big shoes to fill.
With that, evidence testimony is closed, and now this commission will decide the effects of the application and hopefully come to a conclusion. Gentlemen, you've heard testimony and evidence.
Well, Commissioner,
Discussion? Questions?
Commissioner Barnhart, first of all, I would like to thank Ms. Wu for the many years of excellent service that she's supplied to Carroll County. We've always looked forward to coming to your restaurant for excellent food, and you've always provided excellent food. Thank you very much. As far as Mr. Wong, I think that he's been in the food business for, I think, 5 or 6 years. He's had several restaurants. He's testified that he's not had any violations in either board in Arundel nor Howard County. And he's certainly had 3 reputable character witnesses that we've heard from. So I think it certainly is a good thing to give him a chance to run this restaurant. We hope that he can fill the shoes that Ms. Wu has. I would be willing to approve this with certain restrictions. One is that you need to supply citizenship, you need to supply criminal record, you need to supply driver's record, and then at some point in time you need the bulk transfer. If all those are supplied, then I would be willing to approve it.
Well, Mr. Wang, I completely echo everything that we just heard from my fellow commissioner. Character witnesses seem very sincere to me, and there really isn't much more to add. I do feel you're qualified for the reasons stated by Commissioner Harmoning. And you've had experience, and you've had successful experience and an unblemished record over the years that you have had an alcohol license, and that counts for a lot, I think, to us. And as Commissioner Harmoning said, you're filling large shoes here in Carroll County, and I have a feeling that you understand that, and that you will strive to keep up the reputation of that restaurant. I would amend one thing. Well, first of all, I'll tell you, strike that. So I'm prepared to make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Please do.
All right. Case 6606, which is an application for a transfer of new ownership to a new licensee from Eva Wu to Bob Wang, who will, for the use of Fortune City LLC, trading as Fortune City. I move that the application be granted for the reasons that have been stated on the record up here at this dais, and that application is subject to this board receiving the workers' compensation documentation, a criminal record for the applicant, as well as a driving record for the applicant, a copy of the alcohol awareness certificate for the applicant, and a citizenship or naturalization certificate for our file.
Can you add bulk transfer and quarterly?
Oh, I'm sorry.
reports?
Oh, okay, bulk transfer and quarterly reports, is that what we do? Okay. And so I will add quarterly reports on alcohol food sales ratio.
Are we going to give him a time frame to supply that?
And supply within 2 weeks?
That would be no problem at all, thank you.
Is that the motion?
I think so. Did I get everything?
Is there a second to the motion?
I second that. I would like to just give him one piece of advice, that Carroll
Please.
County takes sale to minors very, very seriously. So he needs to make sure he has a good training program for his employees.
Thank you.
And as another piece of advice, perhaps a policy of not accepting vertical licenses.
I think that's absolutely a recommendation of mine to clients as well. I think it just keeps it easier.
Yeah.
Now, gentlemen, a motion's been made and further discussion. Would you like to repeat the actual motion?
I sure will. Mr. Chairman, in the case numbered 6606, which is an application to transfer ownership to a new licensee of a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license from Eva Wu, trading as Hang Fu Inc., for the use of Hang Fu Inc., trading as Forbidden City, to Bob Wang for the use of Fortune City LLC, trading as Fortune City. I move that the application be granted, conditioned on this board receiving the following documentation: the bulk transfer documentation, the workers' compensation insurance documentation, driving record of the applicant, criminal record of the applicant, certificate of alcohol awareness for the applicant, the citizenship naturalization certificate for the applicant, and did I miss anything? Oh,
Transfer.
Quarterly reports.
oh yeah, the quarterly reports, and I think I mentioned bulk transfer. But quarterly reports for the first year of his ownership. And these documents to be provided within 2 weeks. Council indicates that that's acceptable.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, you've heard the motion, properly made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. So ordered. Congratulations, gentlemen. Best wishes. And we look forward to seeing all the necessary documents, permits, and et cetera.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Commissioners. May we be excused?
You may be excused. Thank you. And Ms. Liu, thank you very much for all your service to Carroll County. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take a 5-minute break. session. Back to the business meeting. The next item on the agenda is discussion on the businesses that did not renew, renewal process, and new business. Our inspector has provided us with a schedule of the new licensees, those who did not renew.
River Downs has now get issued a license last week.
I'm sorry, they have
River
it.
Downs now does have a license. Double Barrels can probably be June, July, August, maybe late summer. Because last time I was in that building, it was at Studs. Westminster Tap House, you guys had in, so another week. And Vodka Moo is supposed to be in May.
So the River Downs zoning issue is
It
gone
was
away.
it was taxes, held up on taxes, and I don't know if Tim wants to add to that. And then we did lose 5 places did not renew. this year.
Mr. Jacks did not renew, huh?
Correct.
Who's Mr. Jacks? Is that the Peruvian
Peruvian
chicken?
chicken down to
Yes,
Ryan. yeah.
Down 26 and 32.
Who's Mason Green?
It was a little coffee shop across from Greenmount Bowling, Greenmount Station.
Oh, one of them houses there.
Yes.
Tim Ty didn't.
No. I think he sold the business.
How about Boselli?
Wasn't making any money on the beer.
Did they have more than one place?
No, they just had the one place out
that the one?
at the airport.
Man, I thought there was a Vaselli in Eldersburg, just south of Liberty Road.
I don't know.
No, the liquor license,
What I was asking.
that might be,
Oh, okay.
The
well,
Vaselli at the airport's one move from
the
Sullivan
old
Road.
Highs, right, where Sheets is, the old Highs was,
Yeah.
yes.
What's in Old Gore Motors? Main Street.
The old what?
Gore Motors on East Main Street.
Oh, that's Papa Joe,
No,
across from across from a body shop,
yeah.
that's a pizza shop.
I know it's a pizza shop.
Pizza Bowlies, Pizza
Bowlies,
Bowlies.
that's it, yeah, okay.
Tell me about Vodka Moo. What's happening there?
May, they should be opening in May.
Where is that?
They're down where Seafood Legends was previously, Eldersburg down there, Libertories,
Next to
Yeah,
Panera?
yeah, okay.
Panera, Libertories.
So on the 3 renewal packets that were late, we find them one day, which is how much?
$50.
50?
They paid a fine?
They have not been issued, they still have taxes due, so they have not been issued license, but they will be paying a fine.
Wait a minute. They were one day late
Yes,
filing,
following, yes, with us. They came in
so they're
April,
okay with us, but you can't issue them until they pay the taxes.
correct. And they have till April 20th to pay the taxes,
Right.
and there's 17 of them total. That's
Okay,
still-
so the other 14 did everything on time.
They
just
came
didn't
on
pay
time,
the
but they
taxes.
didn't, they still have, we're holding for taxes.
Oh, so the 3 new renewal packets that were one day late paid their taxes after one day?
No. The 3 renewal packets were late turning in their packet to get the liquor license. They didn't have everything in they needed, alcohol awareness, food versus alcohol sales, computer printout. So they came in the Monday, April 2nd. They came in April 2nd. So they were considered one day late.
I got you, okay.
On top of that, they still owe taxes.
Okay, yeah.
So I can't issue the license until the taxes are paid on top of that.
Understand.
So they had 2.
But if they don't pay them by the 20th, then they're fine for that.
Right. Then it's $50 a day. After that, up to 10 days, so May 1st, if they haven't paid taxes, we hold on to the liquor license, and then they'll be coming in from the board
Right.
whenever May's hearing, May 12th, I think, ish. I'm not sure what,
That sounds right. No, it's May, well, it's June. May the 13th.
13th?
May the 13th. Right
And
there
then
on the paper.
hopefully we won't have anyone, but. In total, we have 169 active licenses right now, minus, plus, and we have 3 pending, the 3 new licenses. So 2 months from now will be 172 active licenses.
Any questions on the license? All right. Keith, you want to, if you all remember, we asked at the renewal this year to put on their food versus alcohol beverages. Question has been raised as apparently what constitutes food sales. You want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, our form asks for total gross and total alcohol sales.
Okay, so total gross includes alcohol sales, and then you parcel out alcohol sales, or?
Yes.
It doesn't say total gross food?
No, it doesn't say total gross food, it just says total gross.
Total sales.
So anything, any money in that cash register is considered total gross.
Okay.
Some places, and I can get a better, not, but there's several places add in expenses not reference to food. They add plus food, plus rentals of tee boxes, rentals of cover charge, rentals,
Merch, does that include
merch. So that bumps the total gross sales up to make the alcohol. If you go truly on food versus alcohol sales, and I guess you can just ask for those 2 numbers, and 60% of that or alcohol sales has to be less than, I don't know how to come up with those numbers to make it work.
Why don't, we just want to know alcohol sales
Right?
and food sales,
Okay.
not total gross sales.
So in theory, the alcohol sales can be no more than 20% over the food sales.
What?
No. No.
Yeah, because it's 60/40.
It's a 60/40 between food and alcohol.
60 alcohol, 40 food.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
20.
So if it's $100,000 in food,
Oh, you're talking about the difference.
100, it has to be 120, they can't go over 120,000 in alcohol, right?
No.
Okay. I don't, then I'm,
No, you're right. You're right. They can, simplest way if, I went to Maryland, okay?
no,
I didn't-
simplify it,
I
because I'm lost. I have
didn't
no
go-
idea how we can,
I didn't go to High Price College, I went to Maryland, okay? Simplest thing is do, if you sold $100,000 worth of alcohol, your food sales had to be in excess of $40,000.
no.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Our rule says
Right?
the average monthly receipts from the sale of food. Doesn't say it's from
I
the,
know, the form is different from the rule. I understand what,
constitutes at least 41%
also
of
that's,
average monthly receipts from the sale of food
it's still
and
41.
alcohol beverages. So you add alcohol beverages and you add food, total sales, and then the food sales have to be 41% of that number.
okay, you're saying you're
this is-
100,000 and,
Now, start with the total food, alcohol. You have, X is X, okay?
well, I'm saying that's what, when our form asks for total gross sales. So that's food and alcohol,
Okay,
plus
well-
everything else that comes in that cash register.
But we don't want that.
Yeah, we're gonna
Right.
change that.
We don't want that. We only want alcohol and we want food, and we're going to define food.
So the total of food and alcohol is one number, and food must constitute 41% of that one number.
So you're saying the $100,000 total number is food plus alcohol?
Yeah, if that's it, then
And
you have
then, right, then 40%, okay. I was
41,
thinking,
yeah.
I was thinking 100,000 of alcohol,
Yeah, that's too complicated for me.
yeah.
Just add them together, food and alcohol together is X, and Y, which is the qualifying number is 41% of X,
All right.
I think.
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
has to be
Bill.
40, it just has
If
to
you
be
have- if you have-
41% of the
That's what I said.
total.
If you have $100,000 total sales of food and alcohol,
Right.
41% of that's gotta be food. So
Okay.
of that 100,000, 41,000, that'd be food.
I think, and,
Is this on the record?
Yes.
yes. Yes. If we make a change like that, and I think I think we should have a public hearing on it. Because I think I think some business can't do that number.
Well, how are you gonna determine which of that money in the cash register is merch and which is not?
Well, because mainly by sales tax, because they had to pay more sales tax on alcohol. So the alcohol, that's definitely a 9%.
Right.
Food, right, how do we know? We don't know.
Wait a minute.
They could bring it up as a cheeseburger, but it would be a T-box rental.
You mean they could classify it in their point of sale?
Yeah, it's broken down, some of the stuff is broken down to like entrees, appetizers.
Here's how we do it. We define food and we have them certify under penalties of perjury. And beyond that, we can't go in there and check
No.
their systems and have a analysis of their, point of sale, how they do it. But,
It's gonna have to be the honor system, they're just gonna have to be,
to some extent.
yeah, to some extent.
But it should be under the penalties of perjury.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with
there,
that.
there are several places that are not.
Not
gonna
gonna be
make
able to
that
do that?
number. Not gonna make it.
You mean the
Well, they shouldn't have a
41%?
license.
I mean, there's places that aren't gonna be able to have 41%.
Are you sa-
We can talk about particulars when we're done, I guess, of who that would be.
Well, I don't know if we should discuss it publicly, because this is an assumption, we don't know.
No, we should not discuss it publicly.
Yeah, we shouldn't be,
Well, we can go off the record and you can tell us, and it might help us.
I think if
Formulate
that's,
an
is that all right with Tim? I mean,
Yeah, I prefer it.
I don't want to throw someone at the bus.
No, you don't want on the record because you don't want people to know what it is,
right.
all of it.
And I had to go through, I would go through and look at, I have to look at each case now. But I think you want input from I think you should at least take input from, before we make any changes like that, I think we should have the business owners come in and talk about it with you.
On the record.
Yes.
I would agree with that.
Now, when we issued that license a while ago,
Mhm.
it was emphasized, okay? 4 quarterly reports the first year
Correct.
of your alcohol and your food. If we're not concerned about that, why do we do that?
We are concerned about it, but
For 1 year, that's all you're saying, for 1 year. They do it. They do it for 1 year.
we do it every year.
Yeah, well,
Only,
not quarterly.
Not quarterly, do it for the first year.
don't do it quarterly.
After that, it gets every time in the renewal packet. And and I don't know if it's gonna throw a wrench into the whole thing. Sorry, you guys, I'm sorry, sir.
No, go ahead. What I'm saying is this not the first year that we had that form to attach to the renewal packet? So they don't do it every year. This is the first year they did it.
Get the computer generated form, yes.
Yes.
They filled out before a handwritten form. The handwritten numbers, we had no way to verify.
Yeah, I've seen old files with those numbers stated.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we
we have-
have a new form though, right?
We have a new form. Anyway. All right,
Want to go over the agenda?
Sure.
training seminar.
Yes. January 17th, so are you,
January 17th?
January, no.
June 17th, God, my head. June
That's a
17th.
Wednesday, right?
That's a
Now I
Wednesday.
know why he didn't put a date on here. don't know what the date
He couldn't
was.
figure it out.
June 17th. That's what I've come up with. State's Attorney's Office can't make it, they have a training, they're in Ocean City for a training seminar, so,
And what is the time?
8:30 to 12.
Yeah, okay.
If you want breakfast, 8:30. If you don't want breakfast, 9.
Right.
I reached out to Commissioner Kyler to speak, do the welcome, have not heard back from him yet. I'm gonna go on from there if I don't hear anything back.
Good Joe, he's the president.
That's my next.
Now, let me ask you a question. You got fake IDs.
Mhm.
Then what's Johnson gonna talk about? Problems and solutions.
Problems throughout, that he sees throughout his career and solutions they've come up with.
In addition to fake IDs.
Yeah. In addition, fake IDs be Mark Baxter. It might be Martin Johnson for both of them, but right now I got someone, I'm trying to get 2 different speakers. But
Who is Mark Baxter?
he's a Howard County police officer.
Do we have him, do we have him last
He's
year?
a big, tall guy. He's been there before. He is very knowledgeable in fake IDs.
Yeah.
And he's the inspector for Howard County Liquor Board.
Yeah.
Problems and solutions is something kind of general. How to deal with an unruly patron, how to deal with someone, trying to come up with something a little bit different solution to how to handle something maybe somebody didn't think of.
Call in the social worker?
That might be, give them an Uber, give them a ride, How to deal with problem childs, how to deal with the inspector that gets on your bad side,
Try.
And then what's the 3 law guys gonna do? County issues, what county issues? What do they have?
Just for,
Louise will say, somebody will say, well, you got your deputies sitting on my parking lot. The chief will say, you got your deputies doing this, or your officers doing this.
it gives the opportunities for the restaurants to make, if they have a problem, to voice their problem.
Yeah, and lets the sheriff respond to any,
Sometimes, one year, this was 20, 25 minutes. Another year, it was 5 minutes. I mean,
That's why I asked that.
yeah, it's however, it's just something else I came up with. Now, we don't have to
Fine.
have it.
That's fine, I
Yeah.
just made a comment, that's
And then
all.
like the last group, I don't know why I got the last group. They don't talk. They don't get up from the seat. They're just, I'll stand here. You come up in front of the,
yeah, I did hear some complaints about that.
yeah, you need to come up in front of the board.
We used to get up there. We used to sit up there.
Well, yeah, but we need to make sure we do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last time, we
The
just
last
stayed
time-
where we were.
The
Oh, you
last
did?
time we stayed where we were,
Yeah.
and I didn't stand up, so.
Well, he did stand up, we still couldn't see him.
I think somebody should talk to these establishments about helping them prevent sale to minors, what they can do, what training programs they can come up with, that type of thing, that would really help the establishments.
Marty Johnson could do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when I go in to do my inspections, I talk to them about that. I'm hoping to see the numbers go down. I mean, this wave that I'm on right now is probably one of the lowest that we've had in a while. I think this wave has only had 4 or 5 violations, so,
When did you go out last?
Monday,
Monday? How many did you do on Monday?
13.
And no,
One
you
one
got
violation.
And a manager, too.
And a manager?
Yeah, last wave, we're at 95%,
Yeah,
which I think is
You
pretty
probably
good.
shouldn't say who it is because we're live.
Right. But, no, I mean, I go out and talk to them, and it's a lot different than I thought it was gonna be, because a lot of managers ask questions and wanna know, what about this and what about that? The big thing is vertical. Don't take a vertical ID.
It's that simple.
This was the situation on Monday, and the manager an employee approached the manager and said, this girl has a vertical ID, we don't serve them, right? And she goes, not necessarily, let me look at the ID.
Ooh.
And she looked at the ID twice, and then I get the text that she was served. And when I went in there, the manager's like, she's 21. I mean, she was adamant, she's 21. It said she was 21 on this date, and for some reason, she misread that last number on the date. But it is what it is.
That's why we stress no
happening?
verticals.
And it's in a black box, too.
Yeah, And she knew exactly where to look. She's very well versed on the laws of Carroll County, and she's very good at what she did. And she was adamant that her date of birth was wrong.
So probably someone should just discuss the diversion program as well, although I think it's getting pretty well known. Because you ask the question all the time, and most times they say they know about it.
Oh, yes, sir.
But maybe someone coming in June, it might be their first seminar, and, so probably should stick that in there somehow too.
That's a good idea.
The location's changed. It is not at the Carroll Community College.
Where is it now?
At the Carroll Fire Training Center, Carroll County Fire Training Center. You know what Comcast is? You know Kate Wagner?
Below where?
Well, the high school, back
Oh,
there
okay.
where they
Okay.
used to have
Is it
all close.
is
used
it
to have
adjacent
farm.
to Comcast?
Yes. It's right next between the college and Westminster High School.
Yeah.
You know what that light is? You know what Youth Service Bureau is?
Yeah,
It's right behind the Youth Service Bureau.
okay.
They never go up the hill to the right.
What happened with the college?
They're doing renovations this year. We've been bumped.
So is this an auditorium that
Yes.
they have? And
It is a very nice auditorium.
And are we having any audio visual?
Yes. It'll be all, top of the line, audio visual.
I guess it makes sense for a training center. I think about it.
Okay, anything else on the training center?
Nope, that's, breakfast gonna be Danishes, juices, coffees,
Omelets.
fruit.
Can we get Diet Pepsi this year?
Diet Pepsi.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll bring you one Diet Pepsi. You remember, he didn't say cold, right?
No, he didn't say cold.
Oh. Oh, man.
Anything else to be brought before the board in public session? Hearing none,
Next date?
this meeting is adjourned. We will convene May the 13th, 2026 at 10 o'clock in this room.